Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, today we have the ADV debut of Cynara against February Stars, also known as Golden Sun. Sorry, just in the mod chat. But yeah, so we see a Tyranitar. It looks like a mixed tar, or perhaps even a purely special tar. Crunched to 30 to the Pert. Pert's going to click Protect turn 2. However, February Stars, Golden Sun is just going to go to Celebi. Perhaps indicating that he's not grass, perhaps indicating that it might not be EV to kill every from that range, especially given the crunch damage. I'm not quite sure, but either way, Protect was a fairly safe bet from Cynara, and she could very well Protect once more, or on the contrary, she could potentially switch to something else. Probably not the Zapdos, as it's likely for Leech Seed. Yep, so she's going to go to her own Celebi, which is a wise decision on her part, blocking the Leech Seed there. Interesting to see a lead Baton Pass Zapdos and Celebi. Perhaps it could be some Baton Pass shenanigans from those two to a stronger Pokemon in the back. However, we'll have to wait and see. It could just be more offensive build, which lead Zapdos also can reveal if it has Baton Pass. In which case, really gaining momentum would be the purpose of that, and it could be a normal Celebi, perhaps even a Combine 3 attack Celebi. But no, that's going to prove to be Baton Pass as well. Perhaps indicating a theme of the team. But regardless, the Dugtrio is going to come on in here after the Psychic bounced off the opposing Celebi. And Hidden Power Bug is going to take out the Celebi, putting Cynara at a 6-5 advantage. That could be a roll. I know it doesn't always kill every Celebi, but given that Celebi was fast, or at least speed invested, it probably means that there's a greater chance for Dugtrio to kill. And also, seeing as it was using Psychic, but it seemed like it wasn't a fully offensive one, it could have also been mono attacking as Psychic plus Leech Seed plus Recover. HP Grass is not too common in the last spot, if I recall correctly. So it probably doesn't have a means of killing that Dugtrio, but getting off Psychic damage could have been beneficial, as then something like Tyranitar's Pursuit could take it out after eating an HP Bug is pretty much forced to stay in. But regardless of that, at least for Golden Sun, while he is down to Celebi, he is able to bring in potentially threatening Pokemon in Salamence. However, it reveals to not be taking leftovers. That could very well mean that it's a choice banner, although we have seen a number of kind of niche leftoverless Salamence and Tyranitar throughout this SPL. Let's wait and see. I've known people have flirted with Silk Scarf in the past, for example. But I think that it's more likely they're not going to indicate it as Choice Bander, and we're going to be seeing a Choice Banded Hidden Power Flying here. So, pivoting into Zapdos would be a wise decision, especially if it's a faster Zapdos, as then it could fit it out with the prospect of Hidden Power Ice, or even a strong Thunderbolt if it takes a resisted Hidden Power Flying. While the Hidden Power Flying would do quite a bit if it's Choice Banded to the Zapdos. It would save you from having your Swampert weaken for a potential late game Aerodactyl Assault. And it's going to reveal to be just that. It's going to be a choice banded Hidden Power Flying doing a surprising 35%. But however, the Sandstorm does indicate that the Salamence is faster. So if this is not HP-based, in theory, the Salamence, if it gets decent rolls, should be able to 1v1 the Zapdos, as otherwise Thunderbolt will kill it. But it seems as if he's not going to pursue that. Instead, he's going to switch the Tyranitar into the Thunderbolt, which does 45%. It also indicates that Tyranitar is leftovers, so it's probably a leftovers offensive mixed variant, given that damage. Or it could just be like a special attack modest invested Zapdos and a bulkier Tyranitar. Not quite sure yet, but that paralysis is quite nice. There's a decent chance that this is not a Rock Slide variant of Tyranitar, given that it revealed Crunch already, but it's not out of the question. It's not unheard of. However, I wouldn't fault Cynara to just click Thunderbolt once more here, especially after the paralysis. However, I wouldn't necessarily go hard Swampert after the Baton Pass, if only because the fear of Hidden Power Grass, and also taking another Crunch could be a pretty big fear if the last Pokemon on this team synergize with the first three, which seems to be quite likely, which means that things like Metagross, which is a Golden Sun favorite, or Aerodactyl could be present as well, or perhaps even a Spiker in conjunction with Pokemon. However, he's going to go for a bit of a mid-ground play in Ice Beam, or perhaps that's just all he had to hit the Zapdos super effectively. Yeah, I think that's the case. And Ice Beam is just going to bounce off the Tyranitar, which was nice as it covered pretty much every option, as there's no way Earthquake or Focus Punch / Brick Break was being clicked there. So good play from Cynara, and I imagine that her Tyranitar is in a good enough position to threaten out the opposing Tyranitar into a Milotic, which the Brick Break is going to merely bounce off of. Milotic actually looks pretty nice, as it has longevity, and the only things that necessarily force it out thus far that are revealed are the Celebi, which comes in there on Salamence double switch, nice, and the Zapdos being a bit less likely to switch into it, if only because the prospect of toxic from the Milotic on the Zapdos, but also the fact that the Zapdos likely doesn't have rest on a Baton Pass variant, so it gets worn out, where Celebi has recovery. But yeah, that was a nice double switch to these elements from February Stars. However, seeing as the Tyranitar is now revealed as a sturdy flying resist alongside the Zapdos, although Zapdos is into a kill range, perhaps that would be the play. Honestly, however, Earthquake would be a very nice play here from February Stars if the Tyranitar would come in. So maybe Cynara falls back on going to something like the Swampert, knowing that it could take any hit and decide what to do from there. However, it did take the crunch damage before, so maybe it wouldn't be able to do that so comfortably as he'd like to. Zapdos is, however, the play on Hidden Power, and that's it's gonna do 32, which still is nothing to KO it, but it might be a roll, seeing his last one did 35. But he's just gonna take it out, and all right, so that's gonna set up the Tyranitar to come in, I believe. Perhaps the oh no, an offensive Starmie. I'm not too sure what I think about that. Quite frankly, I wouldn't be shocked if the Salmon stayed in, if only because Ice Beam into Milotic would be such a momentum kill. And Hidden Power Flying would do a ton to an offensive Starmie. It might even do like enough to kill with Sand after if it gets a high roll. And this is Adamant. However, I'm not quite sure on the specifics of the damage calc on this. So let's wait and see. And I think that Milotic is still a fairly likely switch in. Or if there's like a Blissey in the back, then that would be big too. Anyway, I'm not too sure how I feel about this Starmie follow, but it definitely means that it's a physical Tyranitar. As if that was a Pursuit Tar, then I'd imagine that Cynara would go hard to it. But anyway, I suppose with Starmie and the overall makeup of the team that Cynara is using, the Pursuit Tyranitar would not necessarily be needed. And we're going to see the safe Ice Beam, and it's going to crit the Milotic. Not going to freeze, though. It's going to leave it at 67%. Thing is, that would have done 18 had it been normal. Thunderbolt's going to do 40-ish. Oh, yeah, 43. And the cover is going to come into play here. The Milotic isn't necessarily safe, as paralysis or a critical hit could do it in. However, it is going to be safe for the time being. It's going to recover off a nice 6 or 7% each turn for 2 consecutive turns. I imagine we're going to see one more recover, as this one does 39, which seems to probably be close to the min range. If 43 isn't close to the max range, it's probably like 38 to 45, if I had to guess. So let's wait and see here. 2 Thunderbolts shouldn't kill from this range. Yeah, it's going to do 38 on a Toxic. Okay. Now, one of the advantages of using Starmie here is that while Toxic is annoying, you do have Natural Cure. And your Celebi also has Natural Cure. So therefore, for Toxic Milotic to make direct progress is hard, but it still does stop your momentum. Oh, and he's going to Giga Drain on the Toxic. Okay. I guess you go back to Starmie here, right? Or you Baton Pass. Oh, no, Calm Mind. Oh. Now, what's interesting about this, actually, now that I think about it, is it can Baton Pass to Calm Mind to the Starmie, which actually would be quite threatening, I would say. I think you actually click that here. Oh, that's a nice dynamic. There's no, like, really specific special tank in the back for that. Magneton. Oh, on a Baton Pass, so he's going to get a free kill for Dugtrio. Wow. Please don't go to Starmie and risk the Hydro Pump. Please don't. Just go to Dugtrio. And yep, correctly, she's going to click the Dugtrio. And even if this is one of those weird Endure cost sets, which I don't reckon it will be, as it's a bit dated, with the +1 special defense, even a super effective Hidden Power would not be able to do the trick here. So yeah, that's going to put Cynara in a 5-4 position eventually, whenever the Protect spam stops. And yep, the third one is going to fail. And on turn 24, Cynara is going to be up 5-4. However, the Choice Band of Elements is going to likely come on in here. Yes, I was just meeting someone for speculation in the chat. Hmm. Salamence is going to come in here. Okay, yeah, that's predictable. I'm just going to pause for 1 second. I'm sorry. Just beaming the guy that I muted. You're saying sorry. I said no big deal. Just don't speculate again. Anyway, so the Tyranitar is going to come on in here on an Earthquake, and that's going to take it out. So that's pretty big. That's a nice play there from February Stars. However, this is going to invite the Celebi in, where it's going to be able to not only Calm Mind, but potentially, you can go to Starmie? I don't know. I mean, what health is the Milotic at? The Milotic's at full. I'm not quite sure how I feel about this, unless you're doubling to the Celebi on it. She's just going to go for the Ice Beam, which is going to essentially bounce off. Yeah, I can't say I'm too fond of that sequence. A Thunderbolt is going to okay, so she's fishing for her odds. That's fine. Now I think you're obligated to go to Celebi. Correctly, okay. But now the issue is that Celebi invites the Ments. So unless this is fast, Calm Mind, Psychic. Oh, it's a Flygon in the back. Okay. So if this is Hidden Power Bug and faster than Celebi, then that could be quite problematic. She just needs to get a Baton Pass off to the damn Starmie to win the game, though. I think you're obligated to go Swampert here, now that you see that there's no, like, Aerodactyl or Metagross, and this is it. Because you can't risk, like, Choice Band or even HP Bug. Yeah, Swampert's to play on the Hidden Power. It's going to do 23, which is a respectable amount for a Hidden Power. Perhaps indicating something about the Flygon set or spread or both. But regardless of that, I'd imagine that Ice Beam would be the safe play here. If it happens to have it, as I know some Refresh variants happen to drop it around Toxic Refresh. Yeah, Milotic, however, is going to come in on an Earthquake. Okay. So nice play there from Cynara to get a bit of extra chip on this. And Celebi's going to come in on a Toxic here, and now this could potentially be really good for Cynara, as if she's smart, she Baton Passes, knowing that if this Baton Pass to come on to Starmie, okay, and I need February Stars outplayed her there, so it's going to let her recover. Okay, so that sequence is now null, but going to get a Thunderbolt off here, and again, any paralysis or critical hit would be of the utmost importance. And the Toxic, yeah, it's just not doing enough. See, now you force her to recover again, and you get that sequence over again, and oh shit, okay, Ments, but you could just bin the Dugtrio now, and suddenly this Milotic is in 2-hit KO range, so you've got to bin something when the Starmie comes in at least. So that would make it 3-3 in theory. Okay, but then the Milotic comes back, and you Celebi, yeah, binning the Dugtrio is fine. And now you just go to Starmie here, and I think you click Thunderbolt. But there is potential to get outplayed in a pretty bad fashion if you do that, admittedly. However, Tar should die to Thunderbolt plus Hydro Pump, which very well could be the fodder as it's weakened and paralyzed. Yeah, I think that Tar is the play. But anyway, I'd imagine that Thunderbolt is the play from Cynara here. Because if Milotic comes on an Ice Beam, then it's really bad. And this is your chance to kill it, in theory, if it's risked. So, but yeah, I think that foddering off Tyranitar would be the best play, above all else. And that is indeed what's going to be done on an Ice Beam. Okay, Ice Beam crits. Again, only thing that stood in between was preventing a Hydro Pump miss. Assuming that this isn't some min-max fuckery, this Ice Beam, or rather Thunderbolt correctly, yes, because the Milotic in the back, is going to take out the Tyranitar, making it a 3-3 game. So that's going to level the playing field to 3 apiece. Milotic's going to come on in here. Interesting to see if we see a Thunderbolt Fish or just Celebi trying to come on in and provoke the right sequence. And it's going to be the former, which I think is a fine play. Leaving it at 70% now. And a crit's going to take it out. Cynara's going to win the game with Ice Beam. Wow, and yeah, so that's going to be a win for Cynara, her first SPL win against Golden Sun. Indeed, it was pushed, but the combination of Calm Mind Celebi and late game Starmie was a nice core, and while she wasn't necessarily playing better than her opponent. She was making a lot of neutral to nice plays that positioned herself nicely. So the game was definitely not over there. But Cynara managed to pull through with odds on her side. And that's a good win for them and the Raiders, even if they're out of contention. Good game.